Hello, squirrels. Today's guest on Blind Squirrel Talk, famous in a small town, is Scott Harper. A long-time generational Maysevillian, Scott shares a few of his memories of life in a town seemingly hidden from the world, but full of adventure and stories that will forever be remembered. Join us for a brief look at Maysville, Georgia through his eyes. We know you're going to enjoy meeting Scott Harper.
Also, don't forget to find us on Facebook and Instagram at Blind Squirrel Talk and on X at Blind Squirrel PC. If you enjoy the show, please remember to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you write us a review there or leave us a comment on Spotify or YouTube, we'll read it out on a future episode of the show.
Everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Blind Squirrel Talk. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim.
And this is Scott Harper. And y'all, we're so excited because if you know Maysville, then you know Scott Harper. So Kim was able to get him to come talk to us today. So we're really excited to share Scott with you and his story. So, Scott, how long have you been in Maysville?
Almost 63 years. So,
is that how old you are?
I'm almost 63. 61.
Oh.
So I'll be 63 in
just a few days.
Just a few days. So,
Wow.
We moved maybe for a few months when I was a kid. My daddy was chasing his dream. He was a Georgia State Trooper, but then he passed really young. Mm-hmm. So we've been here. And my grandparents was here. My great-grandparents was here. It's where I spent my summers. It's where I live, so I'm still here.
Yay!
Living in your grandmother's house, correct?
I am. My great-grandmother lived there.
Wow.
My grandparents, I called them my granny and pawpaw, they live there. My daddy grew up there. I grew up there, and my daughter, through circumstances of the modern world, she came to live with me, and she grew up there.
That's amazing. So 5 generations, 5 or 6.
Yep, ever how many, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, and I've decided I'm going to take after we called her, my great-grandmother was a little granny. We called her Little Granny. She was 4'10", about 75 pounds.
Wow.
But she died at almost 106. So I've decided I'm going to take after her.
You got her genes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
Well, tell us a little bit about what it was like as a small child living here. When times were different and safe.
You know, I thought about that when I was coming up here. I've been thinking about what we was going to talk about. Small town America has been, most people at some point in their life grew up in small town America. Everybody knew each other. We could ride our bicycles, and I know it sounds weird about a 63-year-old man talking about riding bicycles, but we could ride our bicycles to the other side of town, and we could stop and eat lunch 10 times if we wanted to. We could just open the door and go in. You know, those screen doors, you could just open the door and go in. And everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody's business, and through social media, it's still that way, whether you know people or not. But best place in the world to me. I wouldn't have grown up anywhere else in this world.
So you learned to drive on these roads.
Yeah.
Look out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I sure did.
There's a story, I can tell.
My mama had a 1969 Galaxy when I was 12 years old.
Ooh.
She said, take it across town right across the road from where my Model A shop is. Take it over and have it tuned up.
She told you that at 12?
At 12? Well, there was nobody on the road except a few tractors.
Had you driven before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hopped in the car and I come down across and went up by the cemetery. Dirt road. It was a dirt road. And man, I was stepping on it and it was spitting and sputtering and popping, and I got it tuned up and came back, and I thought I'd do it again. That thing spun around, hit the bank backwards, tore the trunk lid up on it.
Oh, no.
At 12 years old. So, yeah, I learned to drive here.
So you had some splaining to do when you got home.
Oh, my gosh.
So where you had it tuned up, is that where your shop is now?
It was across the road. If you look straight across the road from the shop, and one house to the right, there's like a garage in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I know where you're
That
talking.
was a local mechanic.
Wow.
Yep. So everybody went to him, And you go over and hang out, listen to lies being told. It was fun, man. It was fun.
Well, what got you into the Model A business?
My brother-in-law had them for years and years and years and years. And I told him, I said, if you ever find anything cheap, I want to build what we call a strip down. It looks like a Beverly Hillbillies. And he did. And I ended up, I bought 5 more one time, and then I bought 2 more one time, and I've had about 20. And by a stroke of luck, just by a stroke of luck, Mike's Affordables down Ridgeway Road, they were at Ridgeway Road, they're like an auto zone for Model A's. And man, and then there was a guy.
How convenient.
Yes.
Yeah. So I worked at another shop for 5 or 6 years, and then opened my shop about 12, 13 years ago, I guess, and I've been there ever since.
Wow.
So, at that time, not many people made a living in Maysville.
Right.
There's quite a few people that can make a living in Maysville now. Because times are changing.
What did you do as a young adult?
Oh, I started off, one of my first jobs, I worked at the pottery.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I was their shipping manager and a wholesale salesman. I had customers come from all over the country and all over the world, and I'd put them, get together a container load and ship it out to them.
Did you stay there till they closed?
Almost until they closed.
Okay.
And then Susan came into my life, which was good. And me and her brother had been running buddies for years, and me and him bought a sawmill together. And then I started into the Model A's, and here we are.
And now you're also selling coins,
Yeah.
buying and selling.
Well, I'm collecting coins. I don't know how many I'm selling. But that's always been a hobby. It's been fun. Am I making a living? I can't make a living yet selling coins, but in my opinion, it's another door open in this town, and we're this close to being a destination spot. And I'm not doing it to where I can make a ton of money, but man, it's fun being in the middle of this town day in and day out and on the weekends.
You've got the best piece of real estate in town, I think.
If I could find a building stretcher, it'd be great. It'd be great.
So as a teenager, when Maysville was a lot different than it is now, what was your first car that you owned?
My first car was a 1971 Nova.
There you go. What color was it?
Chevrolet Nova. It's kind of the burnt orange.
Yep.
Yep. That was a fun car. I've tried to find it. I would love to have that car, but I hadn't found it yet.
Do you have the VIN number?
No. I might could find the VIN number.
Then we could find the
But
car.
I know who I sold it to. I know who he sold it to. I know who he sold it to, but it's disappeared after that.
Oh.
But it was fun, man.
Did you frequent the movie theater?
When I grew up, we frequented the drive-in.
Where was that?
Here?
In Commerce.
Commerce,
Yeah,
okay.
the local drive-in. The theater was before my time.
Okay.
That was
okay.
kind of like my daddy's time, I guess.
So was it torn down before your time? I'm curious when it went away.
In the 70s, 73, 4, 5, it was not a theater, but you know how kids are.
Yeah.
There was an antique store in it.
Oh.
And
I
you
didn't know that.
you could walk in and it still had everything that it had originally. It had the 2 ticket booths.
Oh.
It had all the seats and stuff, pushed to the side, of course. And you could go upstairs where the projector was and all the movie reels. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movie reels.
What happened to them all?
I have no idea. But I've often wondered what happened to them.
Right.
Because they would probably be a good piece of history.
Yes.
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 But since it was an antique store, somebody probably brought them down and sold them for $1 a piece.
Oh.
I wonder who that could have been.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a kid.
So settle this debate. Has Maysville ever had a traffic light?
Absolutely.
They did. Okay, tell us about the traffic light, because we don't have one here.
We need one, I think, or something to slow down the traffic.
It was right here at where 98 turns up over the railroad tracks.
Okay.
And it was a 3-sided light. It had a light, north and south, and one coming from the west.
Like a red
or
light,
from the
green
east.
light, or just a flashing?
No, it was red, yellow, and green.
Oh,
Yep.
You don't see the 3-sided ones that much.
Yep. It was there for sure. And
how many tickets did you get there?
yeah, I didn't get into there.
There.
I
You know, she
didn't
said
get
there.
into- Yeah, I didn't get into there. So, I don't know. I know when our chief that we had so many years, somebody hung a dummy from the red light.
Yeah.
It had his name on it, I reckon.
Oops.
And they took it down, and that was into the red light.
They took the dummy down or the red light down?
Both.
Oh,
Both. So
okay.
that's the story I heard, and I saw it, but I don't know if that's why it came down. But
Right.
it's down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what would you like to see
In town,
Maysville?
I would like slow, steady growth. I don't want to see. I'll fight anybody. I don't. I try to choose my battles wisely, but I do not want to see us turn into Watkinsville or Decula or Brazelton. I
Even
mean,
Houston.
yeah. Oh God, that's crazy. I want you to be able to drive through. I want my grandkids to be able to drive through this town and see this town like it is now, but more vibrant.
Yeah.
People moving, shaking and moving. When I was a kid, man, this town would be full on Fridays and Saturdays.
Isn't that amazing?
There would be 20 or 25 men sitting down there, retired men sitting down there talking.
At your place where your coin shop is now?
Well,
Or-
there, and at Amy's, which was Carl Seville's grocery store,
Okay, all right.
right here at Lulu's Soundboard, which
Because
was
that was a grocery store?
it was Aaron Hill's grocery store, and then I guess where Elite Eats is going to be, where the mini shug was.
Okay.
It was CEO Hanley's grocery store, and they had benches out
That's
there.
amazing
So we
that we
had
had
three grocery stores, and they all managed to make a living.
And groceries didn't cost money. You just went in and signed your name and paid it at the end of the month or whatever.
Wow.
Yep, they had this big old ledger, and I got one of those ledgers somewhere.
Ooh, cool.
I don't know which one it came out of, but I got one.
I'd like to see a picture of that.
Yeah, that'd be
Yep.
neat. That'd be neat.
But it was just on Saturdays, man. You could ride your bicycle up here, and you couldn't eat 5 scoops of ice cream, but you could get 5 scoops for a quarter on a double cone, and half of it melt before you ate it. But
So they had an ice cream store here too? Or was that in the grocery?
it was Carl Seville's.
Okay.
And Amy's. Right when you walked in, you looked, and there it was right in front of you. So
Ooh, tempting you.
he'd dip it out for you. But
I wish we had something like that.
I do too.
Again.
I've always said, maybe not a full-fledged drugstore, but everything but the pharmaceutical stuff.
Right.
I think it would
Soda
really go.
fountain.
Soda fountain, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cherry Cokes,
Absolutely.
hot dogs.
Talking about,
Root beer
that was
floats.
actually my first job. I forgot about that. I soda jerked at Commerce Drug when I started when I was 15.
Wow.
Yep, soda jerked for ever how long, I don't know.
Well, obviously you love Maysville. You've been here forever. Tell us about your stint on city council. How long did you do that?
Oh, Lord, too long.
No. You did great things on city council.
1996,
The Olympic year.
7, somewhere like that. My mama passed in 98. I was already there, so 96 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until this past November. So it's and I did stay out 4 years. Shag Lewis, y'all know Shag?
Oh yeah, everybody knows Shag.
Me and Shag lived back to back. So he came up. I was in the backyard, and he came up and he said, "You gonna run for council?" And I said, "Man, I don't know." He said, "Well, just let me know if you don't." He said, "I'd like to." I said, "Well, since you said that, I'm not gonna run if you'll run." He said, "Okay, I'll run."
Wow.
So And then after 4 years, I ran again. He didn't want to run, so I ran again.
He got a belly full.
Yeah. So,
Got a little break.
and Shag was on the council for years before that. Him and Jerry Lewis, and if y'all know Jerry,
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Plum.
Yeah.
Plum just passed.
Oh, didn't know that.
We losing a lot of good older people, and not the Plum's old, but we losing a lot of my generation. It seems like.
Right.
And the good thing is, we're getting people back in here. If you don't, the whole town's gonna die.
Right.
You can't sit around and say, "Oh, we don't want nobody in here." You know, I love, and I've told you this. I probably have. I love to see people come in here and spend their money on these buildings. If it wasn't for people for doing that, they'll fall down in front of us, and then all we are is just a nothing.
Right.
We're just part of Jackson County.
Right.
You know, and or Banks County, whichever. But I'm proud to see people coming in, investing their money in this town.
It's slow, but sure.
I think we're really close. I think we're really, really close. We got to have some good leadership from the city council, and you know, from the mayor and whoever. We got to have some good, strong leadership that does slow, steady, calculated growth. You can't just throw everything at the wall just because somebody wants to do it and see if it sticks.
Right.
I'll fight against some stuff. You know, if you wanted to tear these old buildings down here and put 5 stories worth of condos, I'd fight it tooth and nail, man.
Yeah, I don't want to see
We
that.
don't want that
But if we could just keep what we got,
going.
you know,
And
give
clean
it a
it up.
facelift, and there's people starting to bring money into this town, and that's what it's going to take. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
It will.
Yeah.
I think when people drive through our town, they see, oh, this is so cute. It could be,
Yeah,
it could really be cute.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and I think that's what attracts a lot of people to Maysville. I mean, I remember for me, it was probably in the 80s, and I drove here it was like one of those Sunday afternoon, get lost kind of drives, and I said, oh, I'm going to live here one day. I mean, you know, just that thought in your mind, and look at here.
You own half the town.
But it was only the half that was falling down.
Not only is this a town that's full of characters, it's a town that's full of character. You know.
I like
I
that
like
line.
that.
It's-
Maybe that needs to be our new logo.
Yes, the slogan.
There you go.
Wow,
I
Scott,
didn't-
can we keep that?
Oh, I'll have to talk to my lawyer.
Okay, all right.
But you know, if we can get, I don't know how to do it, but if we could have our own little museum of some sort, I think it would be great. I think people would love it. I think people would see where we came from. I think it would be a great thing to energize this town and say, man, let's keep it like this.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I think that's everybody's hope too. Like the green building down here, the Leaning Tower of Maysville.
Yeah.
If we could get a grant to fix that up, it would be the best museum. It would be a great museum.
Because
You know,
there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that people, I think, would be willing to donate.
Yeah.
You know, or not donate, but put on loan. You know, we used to have a jail down there. You know,
Where was the jail?
it's it's where the bathrooms are.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, the bathrooms were the jail, or they just built the bathrooms on the slab?
I think it's part of the same.
Building.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many people did it house?
I'm sure a bunch over the years.
Were you one of them? No, I'm just kidding.
You know, that was a little bit before my time too, but I can remember it.
You do?
I can remember the building, but I don't know how personal you want to get, but my daddy, across the road, he lived where I live now. Across the road, there was his buddies. His buddy got caught for laying drags, running up and down the road, whatever, and he was in jail. Well, my daddy, about midnight that night, took my grandfather's truck, my papa's truck, up there and hooked the chain to it and busted the window out, busted him by jail.
Oh,
And
my
they went
word.
back home. And then they got locked up again for that. So,
Did your dad get locked up?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow. Who was the chief then?
Oh, my goodness. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That had to be 50s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that had to be 50s. But
You were just a baby. You weren't even here yet.
I wasn't even being thought about probably.
6161,
Oh,
probably
that's right.
not.
61.
That's right. I remember that.
Do you have siblings?
I got a sister. Her name's Lori. She's 3 years younger than I am. She was over Jackson County elections, all the Jackson County elections. Now she's over Hall County elections.
Gotcha.
So, and she lives in Commerce.
Okay.
So it's just me and her as far as our immediate family, and our spouses and our kids. So
Wow.
we're a small group.
So what is your craziest memory as a teenager in Maysville that you can repeat that won't in any way incriminate you?
Oh, Lulu.
Wait a minute, statute of limitations is probably up. So just tell us anything. Or something funny that happened, or something that somebody did that you always will remember.
Some people might not like it, but I loved it. I was a kid standing right down here on the corner at City Hall.
Okay.
My mama was in Erin Hills grocery, and I heard sirens coming. And man, that was thrilling for a 10-year-old. And I went down to the corn shop,
Yeah.
and I stood there, and man, here come this, it was like, I think a 68, 69 Firebird, and he was booking. And he come through town, he must have been running 120 or 30.
Woo.
The police chief at the time, I won't call her name, but where Browning's, whatever the metal plate
Metal
is,
plate, yeah.
that building wasn't there on the end. It was just a vacant lot.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he was sitting right there, and he was gonna pull out and do a roadblock. And man, that 68 come up and around him and on the railroad tracks and never slowed down. And Commerce of Jackson County plowed into our police chief. It tore 2 cars all to pieces. I was standing right there at the gas station watching it. And there was almost a fist fight ensued between the 2 officers.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then it was all standing there, and then you could hear it coming back. Man, it sounded like an airplane. And it came by and ran right through the wreck and was going again.
The
He
car?
turned
Yeah.
around and came back.
Oh, my.
Are you
But
kidding?
man, that
That
was
took some
thrilling
balls.
for
Yeah.
a 10-year-old kid. I mean, that was thrilling. I wish it happened every day.
That's a guy thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So when your mom heard the impact, she comes outside screaming, looking for her child.
Yeah, I don't-
Did you get torn up?
I don't remember anything about that.
Oh, you don't?
All I remember is just what happened.
Well, did they ever catch the guy?
Yeah, down in Commerce. 'Cause the guy was a gal.
Oh, my word.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where is she now?
She's here.
No. Okay.
She's here.
That's awesome. My hero, and I don't even know her name. We won't ask you, but darn.
We'd love to know.
Yeah, we would.
It was fun times.
Yeah.
Me and a buddy of mine one time went to the local salvage yard in Commerce when we was like 18. And we didn't rent them. We bought 2 cars out of the junkyard. Like one of them was a big electric 225 Buick, one was like an old Cadillac or something.
A land yacht.
And the roads was iced up. And man, we'd take off right here and we'd go down. You might see 80 or 100 miles an hour on speed on them. You're probably running 40 and you'd bounce off each other and spin around backwards up on the railroad track. We bought them for $100 a piece.
And they ran?
Yeah. Had to put batteries in them.
Wow.
And then we took them back and sold them back for $50 a piece after the ice was gone. That was fun. That was a fun weekend.
Wow.
We even had people sitting there watching us.
What is this I hear about? Sometimes it was really difficult to get over the railroad tracks and up the hills sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That gas station has played a big part
I'm sure.
in this town, but somebody
Right.
got into the back of that gas station and got 2 or 3 cases of oil,
Yeah.
oil, yeah, and poured it on the street, on the side coming down.
Okay.
And almost half the people in this town, their mamas worked at the sewing plant. You know, which was where Mike's is now, where the parade lines up.
Right.
And they all came down the hill, stopping to turn, man. It was bumper cars. They just boom, 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 all the way across the road to the little buildings. And
Did whoever did that get caught?
yes, they did.
Okay.
Aw.
Yes,
They
a
can
lot of
never look at a
damage.
can of oil again.
Yeah. And one time, I don't know how much, y'all can edit, I'm sure.
We'll edit if
Yeah.
necessary to protect the innocent.
We spent a lot of time one night. We spent, and I was me and 2 or 3 more. We spent a lot of time taking all the signs down off of Sim Street. And we put the stop signs where the speed limit signs were, and the speed limit signs where the stop signs were.
Oh, what a memory.
And I mean, we worked. That was a lot. That was hard. That was hard work. And about 7 o'clock the next morning, on the door.
Uh-oh, the cop knock.
Well, he sent somebody. He sent a boy named Mark. Mark said, "Hey, Parento said that he saw y'all, and he has called the GBI, and they'll be here at 10 o'clock to take fingerprints off all those signs." And I went, "Holy crap." I started sweating profusely. I'm like, "Oh, no." So we took off. I called Kenneth, and we took off out there in the road, man. We had us a soapy bucket, and we was washing signs, and all of a sudden, Parento stood up like 10 feet away, and he went, "Come here, boys." And I'm like, "Oh." He just set us up. It wasn't no GBI,
Right,
but
right.
I guess it's not hard to outsmart a 10-year-old.
So did you have to put the signs back?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
It was just as hard the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. But,
That's a story. That's a
you
story you
know,
always remember.
it's just.
Innocent fun, really.
Yeah, I mean, really.
I don't.
No harm, no foul.
We didn't hurt anybody that I remember, unless it was each other. You know, we didn't set out to rob and steal nobody and
Yeah.
bust out windows.
But you know, it's still like that in Maysville. I mean, in Maysville, you still,
Yep.
you don't have the crime that you have in some of the other cities, and I think it's still safe and in hometown in Mayberry.
I feel like it's still one of the best places to be.
Yeah.
I really do. And I know I'm sentimental toward it and all that, but I hope people that come in here and that's been here 2 years or 3 years or 5 years say, "Man, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else," you know? And I told Susan a few months ago, I said, "I finally know how people in other towns really feel now, because I can walk uptown and eat supper."
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It
It
really,
is.
You know,
we have that now.
it is. I like it tremendously. We had a cafe right downtown, Willoughby Sears, and
Yeah.
them. They had a,
Where was that?
you know, the tall Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, the 2 buildings he bought to
Yeah.
the side. One of those buildings right there.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Yep, I got a picture of it.
Oh, we'd love to
well,
see
get
that.
it. Well, insert
Sears,
it.
I think it says Sears Restaurant on it.
Wow.
Yep, first I don't know how I got that, but I did. Oh, I bought it off of eBay.
How did you get that?
Sometimes I just Google Maysville, Georgia,
Yeah.
and stuff comes up.
Interesting.
Yep, it's just like an old 1970s postcard,
Wow.
but it's got, I'm sure somebody made it, you know,
Right,
to sell
right.
it, but that's how I got it.
Wow.
That's cool.
We'd love to see it.
Yeah, we
Yep,
would.
I got it somewhere. I'd have to.
Your homework is to go home and find these things.
And get it to us before
Yeah.
we put
Today,
this
no.
live. Yeah.
I got a picture of my little granny and her husband, which I don't really know what to call him. He died in 1940, but him and his brother-in-law sitting on the fenders of a Model A.
Oh.
And they got an old cat sitting up there, an old scraggly-looking cat sitting up on the hood. But I love that picture.
Oh.
And it had to be 1930s, because he was dead in 1940.
Wow.
But
Wow. So if you could pick one thing, just one thing you really want to see in Maysville, what would it be?
I would want to see I don't know if this counts, but I would want to see a weekend, every weekend, like Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, just be vibrant and people moving around, and, you know, and I've said it 3 or 4 times, I'm gonna say it again, but we're right on the edge of people saying, hey, let's go to Amy's and hang out, and we'll do Be Chicks thing, and we'll stop. My husband go by the corn shop and you know, go up to J. O'Kelly's, you know, to the cherry canning place,
Right.
and we're really, really close if we can just hang in there.
What other business would you like to see that might help with that?
I think to start with, I don't know if we could make it work right now, but I think if we had a really, and I know they're a dime a dozen, a really good antique store to pull people in. Me and my wife do that on weekends.
Yeah.
You know, or we used to before I opened the corn shop. But if we could get people in,
Then they'd stop and get a bite and go to the
yeah,
boutique.
it would, and somebody one day is going to ride by like Lulu and say, hey, man, I could use that building for whatever. I don't care what's in it. It is as long as it's good for the town. You know, it might be something I could care less about, you know, but if it's good for this town, I'm all for it. Anything that's something specific, I don't know. I don't know.
I'd like to see
a bigger corn shop.
Well, let's work on enlarging that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, we could. Anything can be done.
Yep.
Anything can be done.
Just takes money and time.
Time, that's right. Time and money.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got.
Yep. Well, we got
We
part
got
of
plenty
it.
of time.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you being here today, and we're gonna get you back on again to tell us some more great stories about Maysville. And it's people like you that have made people like Kim and I want to come to Maysville. So we're just proud to know you. And I remember you as one of the first people that welcomed me to Maysville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I do. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure I wasn't throwing rocks.
No,
I love to see people come into this town. This town has been basically like this since the 60s and 70s, you know. It was more vibrant really in the 70s, you know, because it had 3 grocery stores and all that kind of stuff. But then you get Walmarts coming in, and then you get bypasses coming in. There's a lot of stuff for a small town that's got to fight. We got to be really innovative on ways to get people here because big box stores is taking over.
Yeah.
So, but we can fix that.
We can.
We've still got a good enough town right here. We've still got enough history of old buildings preserved. People love coming here, and in my opinion, there's not another town like this in anywhere. I mean, it's unique.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unique. So.
It is that, and it's also convenient to so much. I mean, we're an hour and a half from Atlanta, 4 miles to the interstate. I mean,
Yep.
It's amazing.
You can live right here in the country in this rural setting, and just be a few minutes from anywhere you want to go. And I don't really want to go anywhere, but but I do like it here. Yeah. So, and I'm proud y'all like it here.
We love it here. We love it
and
here.
I appreciate what y'all do. I really sometimes.
I got you.
But no, I really do. I appreciate what y'all do, and. I told Kim when she called me, I'll help y'all do anything. She asked me about this. I said, as long as there's going to be a positive take on the town, I'm all for it. But I'm not going to bash it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I
And
think that's
no bashing here.
No, and I appreciate
We're
it.
two girls on a mission to help this small town.
2 girls, a man, and a whole bunch more people.
Yep.
because you know what? Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Yay! And that's us.
There you go.
Yeah. So again, we really appreciate you being here.
Yep.
And for all of y'all out there, you've heard us talking about Maysville. It is a great town, and we're going to get more businesses, but just stop in. Look at all the beautiful history that we have here. We've got a gorgeous park. We got more things coming. Come to Scott's Coin Shop.
Where else can you come in North Georgia, North South Carolina, North Carolina? I don't care. Where else can you come and see, in on any given day, 10 or 15 different Model A's riding around in a 1930s town?
And you do see that.
I love that part of it. I love seeing Model A's come in and out and stuff. And it's just gives me a good warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
anyway, that little bit didn't cost you nothing.
All right, y'all. So
Thank you
come
so
by
much.
Maysville,
All right.
and y'all tune in again for our next episode of Blind Squirrel Talk. We'll see y'all next time. Thank
Bye.
you, Scott.
Thank
Yay.
y'all.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
We appreciate you.
Yes.